You guys, so being a hairstylist, we are going to have a lot of injuries and weakness in our wrist. It's pretty normal from the way we hold our wrists to the way we're blow drying and all those things. We have really flexible wrists, which mean we can hurt them pretty easily. So what I wanted to go over is a couple things today before we get into any more workouts coming up. And how you can advocate for yourself and modify for yourself. But first, we'll go over some wrist stretches again. So make sure that you have like a tennis ball or something, just some sort of ball, something that is like really, really a lot of pressure. The goal with using it is that you're using it to work through your forearms, which is why you may end up having some wrist issues. Tightness through the front, the top and the bottom part of your forearm could be why you're having issues. So what you need to do, you can do it on your carpet, you can do it wherever you want. I'm going to do my right arm first. You want to put your weight, so you can either like be down on your side. I kind of like to be up here. Put your weight through, and then you're going to slowly roll the ball. So it should feel uncomfortable. Pretty much any time you are working by rolling out your muscles, it's not supposed to feel like amazing. It's supposed to kind of feel like if you did a massage and they were doing really deep tissue. So as you work up and down through the bottom part of your forearm, if you hit a spot that's really tender, like for me, right kind of close to my elbow is pretty tender, you're gonna put some pressure on it and hold it there. Your fingers might get a little tingly. It's totally normal. So basically, you just want to hold in the spots that are pretty intense. And the reason being is that it kind of helps break up that area. Another really sore spot for me is pretty much like right through this area that I'm feeling right now with the tennis ball. So I'm going to hold it there. You can use your other hand to brace yourself, or you can move slowly back and forth in that area. You never want to be rolling on your joint or on your bones. So for example, if I was rolling the upper part, I'm not going to be rolling on the ball. I'm going to be rolling right below it. So your goal would be to roll out this part of your arm, like I like to call this like the fatty tissue part of our forearm. Kind of working slowly, holding in areas for about like 3 to 5 minutes. So anytime I'm having wrist sensitivity, I will do one of these workouts to stretch. Another option is to turn it upside down, starting near the bone but not on it, and rolling. This one might be more intense because it's a lot of not fatty tissue. And you want to stop before you get to the bone. The most pressure that I am feeling like intensity is right here in this middle part. We're all going to be different. But you'll use that to kind of roll out. You can also do it from the side. It's harder to do it on the inside. But yeah, either this way, down, or on the side. And you'll want to work this entire part, and maybe a little bit of the inside. What that's going to do is help soften up every muscle that's super tight in our forearms from doing hair, from pushing our hands down into the ground when we're doing our work here or starting to work into planks. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes you could do exercises for your wrist and they're still going to bother you. I'm that person. I can get some relief, but not full relief. And so you will have like some modifications instead. You would do that same exercise on this arm as well, holding through. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through some exercises. We can go back to the exercise we did during our first video. So your elbow goes to your side, keep it there. Your hand's going to be basically upward, so from the side. And then you're going to use this palm to pull your fingers backwards. So where you're gonna feel a stretch, I would do this after you roll because you'll be a little bit more flexible. You'll be able to feel a better stretch. I'm gonna feel it all the way down through here. Make sure you're breathing. Take tension out of like your shoulders, your necks, your jaw. Basically, you should only be feeling a stretch through this part of your arm. So you can do this exercise on both sides. I'm just going to show you just one side today, just so you have an idea of quickly some exercises. Another one, same thing. We've done this before. Elbow in, you're going to slightly ball and you're going to roll upwards towards you and down. You can roll and hold too. So what I'm doing here is rolling up. You're going to feel a stretch like all the way through here. This is the opposite of the pushing, so it should feel really, really good to find a stretch there. One side of our wrist is always going to be a little bit tighter, depending on what your body's used to. You can absolutely use your hand, but be really careful. And you're just keeping your elbow by your side and helping just take all the pressure out of like your bicep and your shoulder and keeping it in like your forearm and your wrist. And so you can do that on both sides, which would be good because you want to build up strength and build up flexibility and everything equally, regardless of which one is more weak. To use both of your hands, again, we've done this before, shoulders are down, and then you'll go as far as you can without opening up. So this is pretty much my maximum. And where you're gonna feel a stretch is a little bit through this top part and then through this bottom area. This is a really good stretch here. And you would hold it for like 30 seconds and then come up and then maybe go back into it. Another way to kind of take pressure out of your wrist and kind of add more flexibility is to kind of clamp your hands together and interlace your fingers and working side to side. Sometimes I feel a little bit of a pop while I do this, depending on what your wrists are like. And then you can go the other way, which is really hard to do for some reason. You can just kind of work back and forth, whatever feels good. I have like a little bit more of a pop in my left wrist. So those are really good options to find a stretch without putting a lot of pressure on your hands. If for some reason you were wanting to use a little bit more of a pressure, you could always use your ball again. And you would come down into the parts that were really, really tight, and then you would pull your hand back. So my most tight part on my wrist is right here, or on my forearm. And so you're getting like a little bit of a double stretch here. Be careful, you don't want to like overdo it and really pull your fingers back. You can move around in circles, just whatever feels best to kind of loosen up your forearms. And then again, if you were doing it the opposite way, I'd roll in slightly and you could work up and down, or you could find a spot and really just hold there and move this part up and down. So it's kind of up to you. Those are a few options. For some wrist stretching, I will find some more that I'll let you know about, but let's just say you do those, we go into like one of those bear moves, and right away you just feel shooting pain all the way up. Here are some options. One, when you are doing your bear, instead of pushing all your pressure into your palm, like really, really deeply into this part of your palm, you can see that my wrist is like really, really bent. When here, maybe I can push this down here. So you can see my wrist is super bent when I'm just pushing through this part. When I open up my fingers and press into my fingers and my palms, it alleviates the stress. So here's me just pushing down. It will help take it out and bring it more into your forearms instead of like through your wrist area, bringing like strength all the way through to your shoulder. That's an option. Number two, Let's say that doesn't feel good at all. You don't want to do that at all, like not even for a second. You will come down to your forearms. So there we go. You'll come down to your forearms instead. So where I'm normally here, I tuck my toes and I lift up. Instead, you're going to come down to your forearms. So you're going to be at a little bit of an angle. You're still going to pull up in your spine. So you're not going to be like this. You're going to be up still. And then spread your arms to shoulder width distance. So you want to be like shoulder width distance. You're still going to spread out your fingers just to have some stability. So let's say I'm going to do the bear from here. So I will tuck my toes, and as I breathe out, I'm going to press through my forearms and my fingers and lift up. So this is going to be a lot more shoulder heavy. So you really have to think about pulling your shoulders down. Eventually we'll get into a plank, and so your feet are going to be down and you're doing a forearm plank instead of when we are on our hands. So even if you're in bird dog, let's say this feels really bad and we're doing our leg lifts and we're doing our arm stretches. Let's say this hurts your wrist. You can come down on your forearms and just do your legs back and forth. You don't have to ever add in your arms. You can though. But anytime you come off of your palms, you're sending your weight forward, which means you're going to get more stress in your shoulders. So you have to pull your shoulders down and you have to lengthen through your neck. Super important. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll make small videos. See you tomorrow. We'll stay off our wrists.